wanted to do a quick little lesson on a technique that I think Matheus Asado has kind of defined his playing by. Me personally, when I hear that thing, when I hear someone else do it, I think of Matheus Asado. He's got such a great tone and feel on the instrument, and this specific bending technique that I've noticed is something that I think a lot of people have kind of worked into their vocabulary just by being influenced by him. And today I wanted to take you through and show you the techniques, a little bit behind the theory of how he would use this in a context, and just kind of demonstrate this for you so you can learn it. It's pretty easy to do. It takes two main techniques really, and the first one is bending, obviously. You should be able to bend up from one note in tune to the next note in the scale, and we'll talk about the scale relationships in a second. Chances are most of you know how to bend already, so I'm going to skip over that. I want to talk about the squiggle or the push or the slide technique, whatever name you have for it. And the main thing here is that you keep your thumb mounted in the back of the neck. Cement it to the back so it's not going to move, and that's how we're going to know, and our muscle memory is going to know where to return to, so that we can find a nice sound, a nice tone when we return to the pitch, and it's not going to buzz or fret out. Right? Thumb staying in place. This motion comes mainly from your forearm, your elbow, your shoulder. It doesn't happen in your wrist, and it doesn't happen with your fingers. Notice that my whole hand moves. My thumb stays the same, but my entire hand's moving, and it's not just my fingers. Right? If my fingers are moving, it would look something like this. And we can see why that wouldn't work. So it's got to be your whole hand. Alright, so the squiggle usually happens, and it'll go up a half step and then return to pitch, or it'll go down a half step and return to pitch. And it's great to practice this with all four fingers, by the way, so that you're not limited when you're improvising or learning something. So you're not limited by what part of the neck you have to be in to play that note and that squiggle correctly. So practice it. Practice it with all four fingers if you can. Now, the way I've noticed that Matheus Asado tends to use this, the bending and the slide technique in combination, is that he'll bend up to a note, usually a chord tone actually of the chord he's in. So a chord tone, if we're in the key of B minor, or just on the chord of B minor I should say, we'd have B, D, F sharp, A, we have the ninth, it's the C sharp. And particularly I think bending into the third or bending into the fifth on a minor chord, bending into the ninth sounds pretty nice too. Those are really consonant tones, so he'll bend up to what we're going to call the diatonic neighbor. This is the next note in the scale, and usually a chord tone. Then he'll return to pitch there, and he'll do the chromatic neighbor. So a chromatic neighbor is going to be the pitch that's either up or down chromatically, not diatonically. So it'll be a half step always. And the closer you can get the returning to pitch to the squiggle, I think that's going to make it sound more and more smooth. This is kind of a technique that I think is made to emulate the way a lot of singers would embellish a note, and it really sounds clear and smooth in singing, in my opinion. Now, if in a minor chord we were bending from the second to the third, we'd have a half step, which is the diatonic neighbor, and we'd also have a half step as the chromatic neighbor. It'd be the same note, right? And that's just coincidence. That's because there's a half step in that part of the scale between the second and third note in minor. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if we're bending from the second up to the third, just a half step, we'd still do the same thing. We'd return to pitch and then do a squiggle with the chromatic neighbor. Make sure you're bending up in tune, not like that one just was. Because that's what's really going to make it sound good, if it's, you know, clear and in pitch and quick. So anyway, this is a technique you can take and use in a ton of different genres. Blues, like I demonstrated at the beginning, which is kind of more my style, or straight up jazz, or you could use it in, you know, his typical neo soul kind of genre. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you in some way. If you did, I'd appreciate your support just in the form of a like and a subscription to the channel. I do videos like this all the time. Maybe share the video with a friend that you know that might be interested in this style of playing or that this lesson might benefit. And if you're interested, I do one-on-one lessons on Skype or FaceTime, Zoom, whatever it is for your convenience. And this is obviously just online lessons. If you're skeptical of it, I do a free consultation, so 15 or 20 minutes we can hop on a Skype call and just chat about, any concerns you might have with technology, or what do you need to make a Skype lesson work well for you? What are your goals? Talk about your musical influences and what you would like to achieve with lessons. I offer all this stuff, and the consultation is free, like I said. So you can always get in contact with me. My website is in the description, and I appreciate you for watching. Thank you. Take care.